Hello everyone, Anime Faves here. So I just saw a story on CNN. Really always happy every time I see a story about women's rights or basically the rights of anyone that's being oppressed anywhere in the world, including here. So I just saw a story coming out of Saudi Arabia about a woman named Mrs. Sharif that is basically, well actually Miss Sharif, I think she's a single mother that is basically pushing for women's rights in Saudi Arabia to drive cars. Now, as some of you guys well know, in Saudi Arabia, women's rights are so limited. They are very oppressed there. Now, let me just make one thing clear, because you guys know that I always push that I try to be as balanced as possible in my opinions of what's going on around the world, especially in reference to my culture and other cultures. So in Saudi Arabia, women, of course, usually, well, not usually, but a large percent of the population, women are veiled. It is probably, Saudi Arabia is probably one of the strictest Islamic states in the world as we know it. And women don't have a lot of rights. They don't have the right to vote. They are not supposed to even go anywhere without a male relative, husband, brother, cousin, father. And they are not allowed to drive. They have to hire a male taxi cab driver or have a male relative in their family to drive them somewhere. So they don't have a lot of rights. They are very oppressed. And it really pisses me off because so far as the issues with the Islamic State goes and the state of the Middle East, just period, it really pisses me off because things like this force people to put people of the Islamic faith under one big umbrella label that all Islamic women are oppressed and treated badly, and that they're being controlled, and that's why they have to cover up. And I want to make sure I'm as balanced as possible when I'm giving any opinion, especially when it comes to this issue, since it's such a hot issue as we know it today. I want all of my viewers to understand one thing. Every Islamic woman is not oppressed. Every Islamic woman is not forced to cover up by her husband, other male relatives, and the laws of her country. It depends on what country she's from, number one. And number two, many Islamic women, they choose to do that not only because of their faith, but because they feel that males outside of their family are not supposed to see their bodies in any part of their bodies, and that's a part of their culture and their faith. And it's important that we respect that when we're talking about women that are not being oppressed, women that choose to do this because it's a part of their culture, a part of their faith, a part of what they believe in, you know. And to be quite honest and frank about the issue, a lot of them see Western women as very fast and very slutty for a lot of the things that they wear. And we can't really get mad about that because there are a lot of us over here that see girls walking down the street and will say, hey, you know, she's really dressing really slutty, you know. So we can't really get mad, and we have to understand that when it comes to other cultures, you can't sit here and act like your culture is better or worse than another culture, because we're all human beings. We all have different views. We all were raised differently. We all have different, you know, religions, if any. And we, you know, have a right to our own views and opinions. So the only time that the problem comes in is when somebody is being forced or oppressed by their government or by a militant group or by even their own family, even if it's just their husband. That's the only time that the issue comes in. So I want you to understand in reference to this issue, before I get too far off on a tangent, this woman, Miss Sharif, she is an Islamic woman. She is proud of her faith, you know, and she loves her country. She does love her country, and she made that very clear. But she knows that her country has changes that need to be made in reference to the rights of women. If women choose to, if women have a certain faith, they choose to follow that faith. they love God, and they feel like they are supposed to be covered up. The only men in their family should be seeing their body because that is what is respectable to them, then that is fine. That is something that we need to respect as Westerners. But as she said, that does not mean that women should not have the right to vote. It doesn't mean they should not have the right to drive. It does not mean that they should not have the right to be able to go out in public without a male escort. You know, these women have rights just like everyone else in the world has rights. And I'm just so proud of her and the other women that are standing up for their rights as women to be able to make their own choices without having to be subordinate to a man that has rights over what they can and cannot do in their lifestyle. If they have a right of whether to follow their faith and whether to do whatever is concurrent with the views in that faith, but they should not be oppressed and forced to do anything. And so I just wanted to say again, I'm just really, really proud of Miss Sharif. And I know that it's being too optimistic to say that this is a fight that cannot get very ugly, cannot even get deadly. But I'm praying that the women there are that they will be safe and that they will eventually win their rights someday in the near future, because they most definitely deserve it. They are strong, they are beautiful, they are intelligent, and they definitely deserve to live and lead their lives in an honorable manner and be able to have the same rights as the other men in their country and in their families. So right on, Mrs. Sharif. I hope that you accomplish everything that your organization wants to accomplish there, and we'll be watching you guys on Facebook and Twitter. All right, God bless, and everyone have a wonderful day.